There are strong signs that Sergio Perez may soon be saying his goodbyes to the Red Bull team after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. This time, it doesn't look like he's being forced out. Rather, it appears Perez is choosing to step aside and transition into an ambassadorial role in 2025. That's the story we're hearing at least. But this feels different from previous rumors. Even Red Bull's team boss Christian Horner has mentioned that Perez is experienced enough to understand the situation and make informed decisions as the season wraps up. As the year ends, it seems like the relationship between Perez and Red Bull will come to a close, and the decision seems final. Perez's performance this season has left a lot to be desired. Despite his teammate Max Verstappen clinching his 4th title, Perez is struggling to even secure a place in the top 5 in the drivers' standings. At best, he's sitting in 8th place. This has had a direct impact on Red Bull's performance, especially when it comes to keeping teams like McLaren and Ferrari at bay. The team's leadership, including the owners, is expected to meet soon after Abu Dhabi to finalize their driver lineup for 2025. And with little speculation about Perez's future with the team, it's looking increasingly likely that a change is on the horizon. What's yet to be finalized is the end of Perez's contract, which, although containing break clauses, was originally set to run through the next year. The potential replacement for Perez is still up in the air. While Liam Lawson seems to be the frontrunner, there's still a chance that Yuki Tsunoda could take the spot if he impresses during the upcoming test in Abu Dhabi, right after the season finale. Helmut Marko, Red Bull's racing advisor, has hinted that the decision will soon be made clear. He mentioned that a crucial meeting will take place right after the Abu Dhabi race, with all the key people and shareholders present to finalize the team's future plans. Marko also stated that Red Bull has historically preferred to promote drivers from within their own program, suggesting that the decision may lean toward keeping things in-house. But as always, there are several variables that could play into this final choice. Perez's ongoing issues have been evident throughout the season, especially during disappointing qualifying sessions. In Qatar, he once again struggled, failing to qualify for the next session and losing points during the race itself. After being penalized in the sprint race, he faced more difficulties, eventually dropping out of the competition without securing any points. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, hasn't held back in addressing Perez's performance. He pointed out that despite the struggles, Perez has contributed significantly to the team's success over the last few years. From securing Max Verstappen's World Championship in 2021 to helping the team win consecutive Constructors' Championships in 2022 and 2023, Perez's role has been invaluable. His 5 Grand Prix wins, particularly in races like Singapore, Azerbaijan, and Saudi Arabia, have proven that he has the ability to perform at the highest level when everything aligns. But, as Horner explained, 2023 has been an exceptionally tough year for Perez. His failures have been costly, especially with Red Bull now facing the consequences of not securing enough points in the Constructors' Championship. This has had a ripple effect, impacting both the team's financial rewards and the morale of their employees. Perez's underperformance has, in many ways, cost the team in terms of rankings, and that's something the higher-ups can't overlook. As we near the season finale, the pressure continues to mount. Perez is well aware of his position and the growing speculation surrounding his future. While Red Bull remains focused on supporting him through the final race in Abu Dhabi, everyone understands that this could very well be the last chapter of his journey with the team. Perez's decline this season has been noticeable, and it's become clear that Red Bull can no longer defend his performance the way they did in the past. While he has had moments of brilliance, these have been overshadowed by consistent mistakes and underwhelming results. The team's position in the Constructors' Championship has been directly affected by this. Max Verstappen's dominance has kept Red Bull at the top, but Perez's inability to contribute consistently has left the team in a difficult spot. Christian Horner summed up the situation with a candid remark about how Perez's struggles have been difficult for everyone. For the team, it's not just about the driver's position in the standings, it's about the bigger picture. When a driver is not delivering, it impacts the entire team, including the financial incentives that staff rely on. For Perez, it's become an emotionally charged situation, especially given the expectations placed on him after his strong start with Red Bull. And now, with the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix just around the corner, everyone is bracing for the inevitable. Perez's future with Red Bull seems increasingly uncertain, and the team is already making contingency plans for next year. If things go as expected, the decision to part ways with Perez will be finalized soon after the season finale. Perez's situation has also been complicated by the team's internal dynamics. Red Bull's advisor Helmut Marko pointed out that the team requires two drivers who can consistently finish in the points to maintain their competitive edge. Right now, Max Verstappen is leading the charge, with Perez trailing far behind, over 200 points off his teammate. The gap is not just a reflection of performance, but also a stark reminder of how much Red Bull needs a second driver who can contribute at the highest level. For the team's employees, this is particularly tough. Their bonuses are directly tied to the team's position in the Constructors' Championship, and Perez's underperformance has cost the entire team potential rewards. Marko highlighted that, given the current standings, Red Bull needs someone who can not only keep pace with Verstappen, but also ensure that the team maximizes its chances in every race. The speculation surrounding Perez's future has been relentless, and as the season winds down, the pressure is building. Perez has faced difficult questions throughout the year, with each race adding to the uncertainty about his role in 2025. It's a situation no driver would want to be in, and while Red Bull has been supportive, they know a change may be inevitable. With the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix fast approaching, Perez's future is hanging by a thread. Christian Horner has openly acknowledged how tough the year has been for Perez, both personally and professionally. While there's no denying that Perez has had some incredible moments with Red Bull, his performance in 2023 has simply not been up to par. Horner also noted that despite the challenges, the team has a great deal of respect for what Perez has contributed over the years, particularly in helping secure championship titles for Max Verstappen and the team. However, Red Bull can't afford to let sentimentality cloud their judgment. The gap in the Constructors' Championship has cost them valuable points, and Perez's performance has been a contributing factor. It's clear that Red Bull needs to make a decision about their driver lineup for 2025, and Perez's future with the team is now in serious doubt. The speculation has been hard for Perez to deal with, but at the same time, he's mature enough to understand the situation. Whether he's willing to step down, or if Red Bull will make the decision for him, remains to be seen. The team's focus is now firmly on the final race in Abu Dhabi, where they will support Perez as best they can. But beyond that, the future is uncertain, and the next few days could mark the end of Perez's Red Bull career. Perez's struggles on the track have been well documented this season, but it's important to recognize the broader implications for Red Bull. The team's racing advisor, Helmut Marko, emphasized the need for two competitive drivers to maintain their dominance in Formula One. Max Verstappen has been untouchable this year, and while he's put the team on top, Perez has failed to match his consistency. This imbalance has forced Red Bull into a difficult position, as they can't afford to let their second driver underperform any longer, especially with the Constructors' Championship at stake. The pressure is also mounting behind the scenes. For the employees at Red Bull, this situation is particularly hard because their bonuses are tied to the team's position in the championship standings. With Perez trailing so far behind Verstappen, it's not just the drivers who are affected. The entire team stands to lose out. Marko made it clear that Red Bull needs someone who can contribute more effectively, securing points alongside Verstappen. For Perez, this has been an emotionally taxing year. Every race weekend brings new challenges, and with speculation about his future constantly in the headlines, the pressure has only increased. Despite the challenges, Horner made sure to emphasize that Perez has given his all to the team, especially in the past. But the situation is becoming harder to justify. The decision on his future seems inevitable, but how it plays out in Abu Dhabi will be the final chapter of this saga. As we approach the final race of the season, the atmosphere surrounding Perez's future is charged with uncertainty. The talk of a potential replacement has been ongoing for months, and it's become clear that Red Bull is preparing for a change. The team has consistently praised Perez's contributions, but his lack of performance in key moments this year has put him in a tough spot. The decision to part ways with Perez is not just about his driving, it's about the bigger picture and what Red Bull needs to stay competitive moving forward. The fact that Red Bull has been so publicly supportive of Perez in the past only makes this situation more complicated. Horner has always defended Perez, highlighting his importance to the team, especially during Max Verstappen's title runs. But with the team now looking to secure a driver who can consistently finish in the points, Perez's role within Red Bull has come under scrutiny. The team can't afford to keep a driver whose performance is no longer matching their expectations, especially when the stakes are as high as they are for 2025. In the midst of all this uncertainty, there are fresh faces waiting in the wings. Liam Lawson, the promising Kiwi driver, has made his presence known, impressing Red Bull's management during his substitute drives. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda, who had previously been ruled out, has made a late push for the seat with some strong performances in recent races. Both drivers bring different strengths to the table, but the question remains, will one of them secure the coveted Red Bull seat for 2025? As the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix approaches, the speculation about who will replace Perez has reached a fever pitch. Liam Lawson seems to be the most likely candidate for the seat, having shown impressive speed and consistency when given the opportunity to race for Red Bull. His performances during his substitute drives in 2023 left a strong impression, and now, with the possibility of Perez leaving, Lawson is in pole position to secure the seat for 2025. However, it's not just Lawson who has a chance. Yuki Tsunoda, who has had a solid year with AlphaTauri, has quietly put himself back into the conversation. Despite his previous struggles, Tsunoda has delivered some strong results recently, which have caught the attention of Red Bull's decision-makers. The Japanese driver's recent performances suggest that he might be ready for a step up. And with the team's focus on developing young talent, Tsunoda's inclusion in the discussion is no surprise. Both drivers have their merits. Lawson, with his long history with Red Bull and impressive performances in limited opportunities, seems like the safer bet for the team. Tsunoda, on the other hand, brings more experience at the top level of Formula One and could be a more ready-made solution. But with Red Bull's racing philosophy, which favors drivers who can rise through their own ranks, Lawson may have the upper hand. When it comes to potential replacements for Perez, the situation is far from simple. Red Bull has always prided itself on nurturing its own drivers through its junior program, and this could be the key to deciding who takes Perez's seat in 2025. Liam Lawson, despite his relatively brief experience in F1, has spent years in Red Bull's development system and has earned a reputation for being highly regarded within the team. His ability to quickly adapt to new cards and his strong work ethic have made him a favorite within the Red Bull camp. On the other hand, Yuki Tsunoda's position has become more interesting as of late. He has been a solid performer with AlphaTauri, showing flashes of brilliance, but also dealing with moments of inconsistency. Tsunoda's lack of perfect control under pressure has raised some doubts about his ability to handle a high-stakes role alongside Verstappen, but his recent form suggests he might be ready for the challenge. His technical skill and relationship with Honda could also play a role in Red Bull's decision, as there's always the potential for Honda to continue supporting their drivers regardless of the team they drive for. In any case, whether it's Lawson or Tsunoda, it's clear that Red Bull is leaning towards promoting one of its own drivers rather than looking outside the program. Both are well aware of the pressure that comes with driving for such a dominant team, especially when your teammate is as successful as Max Verstappen. But Red Bull needs someone who can provide consistent results. someone who can contribute to their success both on and off the track. While the spotlight remains on Lawson and Tsunoda, it's important to consider how both drivers would handle the pressure of a Red Bull seat. For Lawson, moving up to the senior team would be a huge step in his career, but he's shown the maturity and composure needed for such a transition. His performances so far suggest that he has the talent and mindset to thrive under pressure, even though he's still relatively new to the full-time phone environment. The question for Red Bull, however, is whether he's ready to deal with the constant comparison to Verstappen, who is undoubtedly the team star. Tsunoda, on the other hand, has had more time in phone, but still faces questions about his ability to stay calm in high-pressure situations. His emotional reactions have occasionally cost him, and his racecraft still isn't perfect. However, his experience and his recent uptick in form might make him more appealing as a second driver who can balance out Verstappen's dominance. It's clear that Red Bull values experience, but they also want a driver who can contribute meaningfully to their title fights without letting emotions dictate their performances. Red Bull's decision will likely come down to who they believe will be the most effective in supporting Verstappen while also delivering results on their own. The team has always favored a number 2 driver who understands their role and is willing to play it strategically. This means that while both Lawson and Tsunoda have the ability to race at the front, the question is, who can fit better into Red Bull's structured, high-pressured environment? As the decision looms, there's also the matter of the team's overall strategy. Red Bull isn't just looking for someone who can finish races, they need a driver who can help secure the Constructors' Championship. That means consistent point finishes, the ability to work well with Verstappen, and the mental fortitude to handle the pressure. Whether it's Lawson or Tsunoda, both will need to prove that they're ready to operate at the highest level, especially in a team that demands nothing less than excellence. One of the key factors in Red Bull's decision-making process will be the long-term fit of either driver. Lawson, who has been with Red Bull for several years, has already integrated himself into the team's culture and knows exactly what's expected of him. This familiarity gives him an edge in terms of understanding the team's approach to racing and how to make the most of their car. Tsunoda, although newer to the Red Bull family, could bring a fresh perspective and a new dynamic, which might benefit the team in the long run. Both options have their merits, but the challenge for Red Bull will be deciding who has the best potential to contribute to their continued success. In the end, Red Bull's decision will likely come down to a balance of experience, ability to perform under pressure, and long-term development potential. They've seen what both drivers can do in their current roles, but the next step is all about determining who has the potential to grow into a key part of their championship-winning lineup. As the dust begins to settle after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the decision on Perez's future will be one of the most anticipated announcements in Red Bull's history. The speculation surrounding his departure has been ongoing for months, and now it seems that the team is finally ready to move on. Regardless of who takes over the seat in 2025, the challenge remains. Can Red Bull maintain its dominance in Formula One? With Red Bull continuing to dominate the sport, Red Bull will need a second driver who can consistently perform and provide support in the Constructors' Championship. This isn't just about finding someone who can drive fast. It's about finding someone who can contribute to the team's success across an entire season. Both Lawson and Tsunoda have their strengths, but the ultimate question is who can handle the immense pressure of driving for a team that has one of the most dominant drivers in the world. The role of the second driver at Red Bull is no small task. It's not just about being a support act for Verstappen, it's about playing a critical role in the team's championship aspirations. Whether it's securing podiums, assisting with strategy, or contributing valuable points, Red Bull needs someone who can help shoulder the load. For Lawson and Tsunoda, it's not just about proving they belong in phone. It's about proving they can thrive in an environment that demands absolute excellence from every driver. Looking ahead to the 2025 season, Whoever takes over Perez's seat will face a massive challenge. Red Bull is not a team that tolerates mediocrity, and with Verstappen continuing to dominate, the pressure on his teammate will only increase. Whoever fills that second seat needs to understand the dynamics of being Max's teammate. It's a unique and high-pressure role. The job isn't just about keeping up with Verstappen's pace, but also about being the ultimate team player, someone who can help the team's overall performance without compromising their own racing instincts. Liam Lawson, with his background in Red Bull's junior program, seems like the safer option. He's spent time with the team, knows the internal workings, and has already proven that he can be competitive under difficult circumstances. His history with Red Bull gives him a clear advantage in terms of integration, which is something the team values greatly. Tsunoda, while newer to the Red Bull family, has shown a surprising level of consistency and adaptability that could make him a strong contender for the seat. Still, he'll need to prove that he can keep his emotions in check and perform when it counts. Red Bull's decision will be influenced not just by the driver's abilities on track, but also by their attitude, adaptability, and how they handle the immense pressure that comes with being part of one of the most successful teams in recent years. It's not just about raw talent, it's about finding a driver who can thrive within Red Bull's high-performance culture. As we head into the final weeks before the 2025 season kicks off, Red Bull's decision regarding Perez's replacement will be a game-changer for the team's future. The pressure is mounting, not just on the drivers vying for the seat, but on Red Bull itself, which has to make the right call. This decision will shape the team's lineup for years to come and could have lasting consequences on their championship prospects. It's clear that Red Bull wants someone who can not only challenge for podiums, but also maintain consistency throughout the season. Both Lawson and Tsunoda have shown promise, but there's no guarantee that either of them will be able to consistently match Verstappen's pace, especially given the Dutchman's exceptional form. Whoever takes over must accept their role as the second driver, which comes with its own unique set of challenges. This is where the mental toughness of both drivers will be tested. The role of the second driver at a dominant team is often an unenviable one. While they may not have the same level of freedom as the team's lead driver, their role is crucial in helping the team win the Constructors' Championship. For Red Bull, it's all about finding someone who can excel in this environment, someone who can handle the pressure of being Max Verstappen's teammate and still deliver when the team needs them most. As we look toward the future, it's also important to consider the impact this decision will have on Red Bull's overall strategy. The team has always been meticulous in its approach, from car development to driver selection. The replacement of Perez isn't just about filling a seat, it's about making sure the team remains as competitive as ever. With Verstappen continuing to set new benchmarks for success, Red Bull needs a second driver who can support him while also contributing to the overall team effort. This is why the decision on Perez's replacement goes beyond performance alone. It's about finding a driver who can integrate seamlessly into the team, who can support Verstappen's title bids, and who has the mentality to perform consistently over the course of a long and grueling season. Red Bull's driver choice will ultimately come down to who can balance their personal ambitions with the team's needs. Someone who understands that success in F1 isn't just about individual glory, it's about the collective effort that leads to championships. With the 2025 season on the horizon, the pressure is on Red Bull to make the right decision. The stakes are high, and it's not just about replacing Perez. It's about maintaining their status as the dominant force in Formula One. With Red Bull's focus firmly on the 2025 season, the team has to think long-term. Their dominance in recent years has set a very high bar, and continuing that legacy will require not just exceptional car development, but also careful management of their driver lineup. The key will be finding a replacement for Perez who can contribute to both short-term success and long-term stability. If Lawson or Tsunoda gets the nod, it won't be just about filling Perez's shoes. Both drivers will have to prove that they can handle the pressure and demands of a team that expects nothing less than total commitment. With Verstappen leading the charge, the second driver at Red Bull has to be ready to play a supporting role, while also contributing their fair share to the team's success. In the coming months, the team will likely test and analyze every aspect of the potential candidates. It's not only about performance on track, it's about whether they can adjust to Red Bull's unique culture and thrive under the pressure of being teammates with one of the most dominant drivers in Formula One history. As we approach the conclusion of this season, all eyes will be on Red Bull's decision regarding Perez's future. The team's upcoming choice will not only determine who sits alongside Max Verstappen in 2025, but also signal their intentions for the years ahead. Whoever steps into that second seat will have the immense responsibility of helping maintain Red Bull's dominance in F1, but also playing a key role in the team's strategic direction moving forward. For Perez, the writing may be on the wall. He's been a loyal servant to the team, contributing significantly to their success, but the constant pressure to perform at the level Red Bull expects has taken its toll. With a potential ambassador role waiting in the wings, Perez may have to accept the reality that his time in a competitive seat is coming to an end. However, he can still leave on his own terms, knowing that his contributions helped Red Bull to multiple championships. The decision between Lawson and Tsunoda will be crucial, not just for 2025, but for the team's future. It will shape Red Bull's approach to their second driver role for years to come, and could have a big impact on their championship battles with the likes of Ferrari and McLaren. As for Lawson, Tsunoda, or anyone else who might get the seat, it's clear that Red Bull needs someone who's not only fast, but mentally tough enough to handle the immense pressure that comes with racing for one of the most successful teams in Formula One.